ladies and gentlemen, once again, as always, Miguel Magallon! And as always, President, Founder, CEO of Magallon Entertainment! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back this evening. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about the Federal Reserve. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about Jay Powell's bitch ass. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about this fake ass stock market rally. And then at the end, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about our motherfucking portfolios. I want to talk about the economy. And once again, as always, I want to talk about the average American. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm about to teach you some shit, when I'm about to educate you on shit, when I'm about to drop knowledge up in this motherfucker, you already know what time it is on the podcast, ladies and gents. Everybody listening, you know what to do by now. Get the pen in the pad, get the pen in the pad, get the pen and the motherfucking pad! And let us begin learning. Alright, so let's jump into this. I want to talk about what happened today in the stock market. I want to talk about what's happening in the economy. I want to talk about what happened at this bitch-ass press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin with none other than Jay Powell's bitch ass, the leader of the free world, the leader of the free market economy, the leader of the Federal fucking Reserve. So, coming into this, let me back up a moment. I want to contextualize this. I want to set up the dinner plate real nice and fancy. I want to make sure that all of you guys listening to me tonight across the country and around the world, 155,000 subscribers strong, 45 countries, 15 different time zones. I mean, damn, there's a lot of people listening these days. I want to set the table real nice and fancy tonight. I want to make sure we're all on the same fucking page before I begin my ass whooping tonight. Alright, let's make sure we all back up for a second. And I want to contextualize this bitch. I want to make sure that all of us are on the same page before I begin this ass whooping tonight. Last year, you guys know me, I'm a bear, and to close the year, I became a mega fucking bear. Because all of last year, I was screaming at the top of my motherfucking lungs that this economy is headed for a recession. And more importantly, probably the most important thing I said all of last year was that I believed, in my opinion, that the average American was already in a recession, because the average American is not a multimillionaire. The average American is not a whale or a mega whale. The average American doesn't have a six-figure income. Most Americans don't make $150,000 a year. Most Americans are not rolling around in a Mercedes-Benz or a Rolls-Royce or a Ghost Phantom or a Lamborghini, Maserati, Ferrari, Bugatti on some Andrew Tate shit. What color is your Bugatti? Right? Most Americans aren't living that life. Most Americans have to walk to work. Most Americans take the bus to work. Most Americans ride the fucking subway. Most Americans drive a Nissan, a Honda, a Toyota. Ain't that many Americans really rolling around in a Rolls Royce, in a Ghost Phantom, in a Maserati, in a Lamborghini, in a Bugatti. Most Americans don't live that life. Most Americans are basically struggling paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans only have enough money to pay their rent, to barely put food on the table, and to pay off their bitch-ass fucking landlords and all their fucking debt. Most Americans are really just trying to get by. And at the end of the month, they got a couple $100 left over. And some people put into savings, some people put it into investing, and then other people spend it on what? Blunts, hoes, and fucking modelos. But the point is, most Americans, they don't have a six-figure income. Most Americans do not have careers. They have a job. There's levels to this shit. Most Americans are just trying to survive right now. And so two of the biggest things I said last year was, one, this economy is headed for a recession, and two, the average American is already in one. And that's why you're seeing credit card debt being maxed out to the motherfucking ceiling. That's why you're seeing all these auto loans getting defaulted on, and credit cards, and people aren't paying their rent on time, and everyone's dealing with inflation, and people are getting their hours cut back at work, and you're seeing all these, layoffs happening nationwide. And now the only people who are hiring these days are minimum wage jobs that nobody wants to do because it's beneath me. So a lot of Americans are facing, an economic downturn. So even if the economy isn't in a recession, most Americans feel like they're in a recession, because when I look at their bank accounts, when I look at their savings account, when I look at their retirement accounts, when I look at their 401ks, when I look at, their household income and their debt to income ratio, most Americans are fucked. Most Americans don't have any money in savings. Most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans are drowning in fucking student loan debt and credit card debt, and people's cars are getting repossessed, and everyone's bitching about how much food costs at Walmart because, food's expensive, as fuck these days. So again, to me, the two main points, to end the year and to start this year was A, America's going into a recession, an economic downturn, and B, the average American is already in one, and they're just hoping for things to get better quick, fast, and in a hurry, because right now they're fucking struggling. Right now they're going through some shit. Right now there's a lot of people who are pissed the fuck off and depressed because they can't live that life that they once, were able to live back in 2020, 2021, when everyone was getting stimulus and boosted unemployment and child tax credit money and all the stimulus out the ass, stimmy after stimmy after stimmy after stimmy. And back in 2020, 2021, a lot of people, got used to that champagne life. Back in 2020, 2021, a lot of people started living that upper middle class life. Back in 2020, 2021, motherfuckers got a taste of the upper room, and all of a sudden everyone got bougie and shit, and everyone wanted to live that nice life. They wanted to go out on the weekends. They wanted to have fun. They wanted to go to the kickback, the party. They wanted to go here. They wanted to go there. They wanted to get turned up every weekend. And, you give people a taste of that life for too long, and you keep giving them direct deposits in their bank accounts for all their fucking day kids every month, and you just keep pumping out stimmy after stimmy after stimmy after stimmy. Then you do federal stimulus checks, and then you have state stimulus checks, then you got child tax credit fucking direct deposits. I mean, damn. Motherfuckers were getting paid so much free money for so fucking long, people started living above their means. And that's why 2022 was such a fucking rude awakening for most Americans, because they finally woke the fuck up and said, damn, I really don't got it like that anymore. Damn, I probably never really had it like that. I was only living like that because I was getting all that free money every month. But now I'm starting to notice that the rent keeps going higher. Now I'm starting to notice that gas prices went higher. Now I'm starting to notice that food prices are higher. Now all of a sudden I'm starting to notice that the interest on my credit card debt is starting to go higher. Now all of a sudden I'm starting to notice that, shit is expensive as fuck in America. Living in America is not cheap. It's fucking expensive as fuck. And everything these days it feels like it just keeps getting more expensive, more expensive, more expensive. And so again, to start off the year, a lot of Americans, they sold all their crypto, they sold all their Bitcoin, they sold all their stonks and their stocks and all the meme stock bullshit. They dumped everything in their Robinhood portfolio. And then after that, they started, maxing out credit cards left and right. Then after that, they started using all the money they had, in savings. And then after that, they started pulling out loans left and right. And again, this is what you're seeing in the real economy for the average American. The average American is basically maxing out credit card debt. They're pulling out personal loans out the fucking ass, even though I don't think most of them are ever going to be able to pay back that shit. And they have no money left in savings. They're basically living, paycheck to paycheck. And right now, most people are just trying to survive. That's why most people work like 2 or 3 jobs these days. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but, part of the problem with a lot of these, job data indicators is they show that, oh yeah, the economy's strong. Look, everyone, they have all these jobs. But what they don't show you is that, half the country really isn't working because they think they fucking made it, and the other half of the country is basically picking up the slack, and they're the ones working 2 or 3 jobs. You ever notice how many people have more than one job these days? There's a lot of fucking people that are working multiple jobs. Like, and it's sad because it's usually older people. I see a lot of people who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s working 2, 3, 4 jobs, working Uber on the weekends, working DoorDash at night, working the normal 9 to 5, and then working another weekend job. I see a lot of people trying to do all these side hustles, trying to do all these extra shifts, trying to do all these extra things just to break bread. And then I see other motherfuckers that are just living their best life every fucking weekend. You guys ever see that shit? I see that shit all the time in the trenches. I see a lot of people who are just, they think they're self-made now, and then you got other people who are just fucking, they're just slaving away every single day, Monday through Friday, and then a second job on the weekend, and then a third job at night, and then a fourth job here and there. I see a lot of people just working their fucking balls off, breaking their back in half every single month, just to pay the bills, pay their debt, and, feed their family. I see a lot of people out here working like all day, every day, just to make as much money as they can, and it still ain't enough. So, with that being said, the story of the real average American, I think the average American is struggling. I've said that for over a year now. I think the average American is going through some shit. I think the average American is dealing with a lot of depression. I think the average American has a lot of anxiety at the end of every single month because they're trying to figure out how the fuck are they working this month and they still barely have enough money to pay the bills. Like, shit just ain't adding up. 1 + 1 is not equaling 2, because again, I think a lot of Americans are working like their asses off right now, and it feels like they're not making what they should be making. It feels like they're not making what they feel they deserve. It feels like most Americans feel like they're all underpaid for the amount of bullshit they go through and the amount of work they put in. And so I think for the average American, they're getting fucking tired of this shit. Because I think the average American is just running themselves into the ground, just working harder. But it feels like no matter how hard they work, it feels like they never make enough money. And that's why a lot of Americans are stressed the fuck out right now. That's why a lot of Americans are depressed. That's why a lot of Americans have so much fucking anxiety at the end of every month. Because they're trying to figure out how the fuck am I putting in all this work and working so hard and I'm still fucking broke at the end of every month. How the fuck does this shit make sense? Am I just going to be here working on my hands and knees until the day I die, never having enough money to retire, never having enough money to go on a vacation, never having enough money to achieve my goals in life, never having enough money to do the things I want to do in life, never having enough money to have any kind of freedom? Like, I was just born to work until the day I die and then I die? Like, what the fuck? What's the end game? How do I get out of this loophole? How do I get out of this rat race? How do I get out of financial fucking slavery? Like, cause this shit just ain't adding up. It don't make sense right now. So I think that's the situation the average American find themselves in. And again, there's over 400 million people who are living in this country. Some legally, some illegally, doesn't matter. We got over 400 million people in this country. Trust me, not everyone has a Mercedes-Benz. Trust me, not everyone has a Rolls-Royce. Trust me, not everyone has a fucking Bugatti. Most people walk to work. Most people take the bus to work. Most people fucking, they commute to work. Most people are taking the subway to work. Most people, they have to ask their friends and family to get a ride to work. Most people are still living with their parents or their in-laws or still living with family even though they're almost 30. Most people do not own their own home. Most people are renting. Most people do not have any assets. All they had is debt. Trust me, there's not a lot of people out here with assets and investments. Most people just have debt and fucking bullshit. So, with that being said, that's kind of like, and I know that seems like super bearish, but that's my honest, raw reality perspective on the economy and the average American, to finish 2022 and then going into 2023. So when we go into 2023, again, I want to set up the table here before I begin the ass whooping because I haven't even started with that shit. But, the market hits a big low in June of 2022, right? Everything's going down. Real estate's fucking falling apart because mortgage rates are fucking, flying through the roof. And then everyone's freaking out about mortgage rates. Not necessarily because mortgage rates went up too high, but they went up too high too fast. And that's what most real estate agents in America will tell you, is that the problem with mortgage rates isn't the fact that they were too high, because historically speaking, mortgage rates really aren't that high. It's the fact that they went up so fast. It was the rate of change that really threw off the real estate market. But nonetheless, you go back to like April, May, and June of last year, and mortgage rates were fucking flying through the roof. The stock market was fucking falling into the basement. Bitcoin was falling off of a cliff, and all the cryptos and meme stocks were getting fucking massacred. And everyone's portfolio was getting crushed. Everyone's net worth was getting destroyed, and the economy was absolutely falling apart. And then everyone's like, okay, damn, this feels like, this is going to get bad real fast in a hurry. And then all of a sudden the market starts to rally in June, July, all the way into August. All of a sudden the economy starts to pick up steam again. All of a sudden Bitcoin seems to have found the floor. All of a sudden cryptos are trying to gain some footing. All of a sudden the real estate market's starting to bounce back because mortgage rates start to come down again. All of a sudden it feels like we're starting to go up again. And then here comes August, September, and here comes the Federal Reserve. And what do? They said, we're still not done raising interest rates. We're still not done killing inflation. And we're still not done whooping and killing this fucking economy. Because inflation is still way too high. Inflation is coming down, but it's not coming down enough. And there's still too many people out here not working. Labor force participation is still too low. The unemployment rate is still too low. And wage inflation is still too high. So we still have a lot of work to do. Fuck your rally. Fuck these bitch ass bulls. Get back to fucking work. Go back to the office. And all of a sudden what happens August, September? Boom. Market starts to tumble. Bitcoin starts to fall off another fucking cliff. Crypto start to get destroyed again. Real estate agents start to fucking lose work again. And everyone's, crying, bitching, and complaining. And the entire market, along with the economy, it basically starts to dump all the way till basically October, November, and even into December, right? And then to start, to close out the year, everyone's trying to figure out, well, what's next year going to look like, General? What's next year going to, what's your prediction for 2023? And what do you think's going to happen here? And what do you think's going to happen there? And you know what I said, right? I came out on the podcast and I said, look, guys, you want to know what my advice is for 2023? It's the exact same advice I had going into 2022. Because to start 2022, I said the exact same thing. I said, look, guys, interest rates are probably going to go higher. We don't know how high, but they're probably going to go higher. Some of these stocks are going to come down. Some of these stocks are going to go sideways. And some other stocks might just keep going up because they just don't give a fuck, right? But the most important thing I want you guys to do in a higher interest rate environment is you guys need to figure out, I want you guys to figure out who the fuck you are, what kind of investor you are. If you're a person that can deal with a lot of volatility because you're focused on the long term, then keep loading up on stuff that's for the long term if you have the fucking cojones to be able to deal with a lot of volatility. The problem is not all of you can deal with volatility. Like for some of you, if a stock goes down more than 5% in one day, you start to fucking bitch and complain. Oh, General, my portfolio keeps going lower. General, the stock keeps going down. General, what do I do? What do I do? And I said, look, if you're an investor that can't handle volatility, if you're a person that doesn't like, price market fluctuation and you don't like volatility and you don't like it when one day it's up and the next day it's down, if you're a person that's always going to worry about the short term and you don't know how to focus on the long term, then go into defense. And I want you guys to be defensive. I want you to just focus on charging stations because we all know charging stations on the future. Who gives a fuck what interest rates do? I want you to focus on rare earth. I want you to focus on lithium. I want you to focus on defensive names. Maybe they go up, maybe they go down, but in the long term, you guys know they're the future, right? I want you guys to focus on defensive names like Costco, because at the end of the day, everyone has to buy food. And as the economy continues to get worse, as the country heads into a recession, and as average Americans continue to struggle, guess what a lot of people are going to do? They're going to be forced to stop spending money on stupid shit, and they're going to start to focus on what really matters, and that's paying the rent and feeding their family. So I would focus on names like Costco. I would focus even on a name like Walmart, and if you want to be bougie, you can load up on some Target stock, right? And if you really want to go there and you want to load up on some recession plays, I told you guys, I still like Dollar General and I still like Dollar Tree because in a recessionary environment, two companies that are going to benefit the most from a lot of people losing their jobs and getting their hours cut back at work are going to be who? Dollar Tree and Dollar fucking General, right? And again, I'm not here to tell you this is fair. I'm not here to tell you the way the world should be. I'm here to tell you the way the world motherfucking is. And in a recessionary environment, what are some of the stocks that are going to benefit or at the very least be defensive when people are losing their jobs and getting their hours cut back at work, or they're just not getting as many shifts at work, or not as many businesses are hiring compared to before? It's going to be what? Dollar General and Dollar Tree. And again, I would look at a company like Walmart and Costco, because at the end of the day, people got to do what? Pay their rent, feed their kids. Boom. Right? Keep it fucking simple. And then again, continue to load up on charging stations, continue to load up on, rare earth and lithium, because this is the future of the world, whether you like it or not. Electric vehicles is the future of the entire fucking planet, whether you like it or not. Right? So I told you, be defensive and stick to, what you know. But if you do have some cojones, if you do have some balls of steel, if you do fucking, have what it takes to focus on the long term, and you don't give a fuck about volatility, you don't care if something goes up or down on a day-by-day basis because you're focused on the next 5 to 10 years of your life, and you're focused on investing for the next 5 to 10 years in your portfolio, what did I say? I said I'd load the fuck up on Bitcoin, I'd load the fuck up on Tesla, I'd load the fuck up on fucking Nvidia, I'd load the fuck up on AMD, I'd load the fuck up on Neo, right? I would start looking at some very high beta names. Basically, these type of stocks, they can go up or down 30% in a month. But if you believe in these stocks and you believe in these companies over the next 5 to 10 years, then you don't care what the stock does today, tomorrow, next week, or next month. You're focused on the next 5 to 10 years. And that's why, I haven't been talking about Bitcoin as much, but when I do talk about Bitcoin, what do I say? I say the same thing every single time for the past 12 months. I say, look, when it comes to Bitcoin, you have to ask yourself one simple question. Do you believe it's going to be worth do you believe it's going to be worth more than $1 million per Bitcoin one day? And it's a yes or no question. It's very simplistic. It's yes or no. Do you believe that one day in the future, whether it's 2025 or 2026 or 2027 or 2028 or 2029 or 2030 or 2035, who gives a fuck? Do you believe that in the future, Bitcoin's going to be worth over $1 million each, or do you believe it's going to zero? It's that simple. There's been people that have been saying Bitcoin's going to go to zero for years now. Guess what? They're broke. And then there's a lot of people who believe Bitcoin's going to go above $1 million. Guess what? They're Bitcoin whales now, because they were loading up on Bitcoin back in 2011, 2012, and 2013. So you have to ask yourself, which side of the fence do you stand on? Do you believe Bitcoin's going to be worth over $1 million each one day? Or do you think it's going to go bankrupt and go to zero? What's your opinion on it? Right? You guys know where I stand. In the long term, I'm a motherfucking mega bull. You know me. I stay stacking fucking Bitcoins, right? But that's because I do believe for many years now that Bitcoin will be worth over $1 million each, right? But if you don't believe that and you think it's fake, you think it's a Ponzi scheme, you think it's a pyramid scheme, you think it's some fucking bullshit, you think it's all a fucking hustle and a scam, and you think it's going to go to zero, then don't buy Bitcoin, right? It's very simple. Do you think all the people who are invested in Bitcoin now are dumb and stupid? Or do you believe that crypto is the future and Bitcoin is going to be the fucking end all be all, or at least one of the biggest asset classes in the world? What do you believe? Because if you believe it's going to go way fucking higher in the future, then basically you need to be buying as much as you can right now. Who gives a fuck how high it goes or how low it goes? You just need to keep stacking as much as you can. Because if you're a Bitcoin bull and you're a Bitcoin believer and you believe Bitcoin is the fucking future, like everyone else does, Elon Musk owns Bitcoin, Jeff Bezos owns Bitcoin, the CEO of Apple owns Bitcoin, the CEO of Microsoft owns Bitcoin, fucking Andrew Tate's bitch ass locked up in Romania, he owns Bitcoin, Andrew Tate's brother, I forgot his name, but his brother owns Bitcoin. I mean, look. Do you believe it's going to be worth more in the future like they do? Or do you think it's going to zero? Because here's the thing. In the future, if Bitcoin ends up going into like $1 million each, or $5 million each, or $10 million each, guess what? The only question people are going to ask you in the future isn't what price you got in at. They're not going to ask you what your cost average is. They're not going to ask what year you started buying. They're only going to ask you one fucking question. How many Bitcoins do you own? Because that's going to be the only thing that fucking matters one day. So when it comes to Bitcoin, keep it simple. Are you a believer or are you a non-believer? If you're a believer, you need to be stacking the holy fuck out of Bitcoin right now, because you need to buy as many as fucking possible. If you're a Bitcoin bear and you don't believe in it and you think it's going to zero, then find something else you believe in. Do you believe in Tesla? Do you believe in Nvidia and the future of artificial intelligence? Do you believe in flying cars? Do you believe in charging stations? What do you believe in? And whatever it is you believe in 5 to 10 years from now, you need to keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking, and above all else, stop spending your fucking money on stupid fucking shit every weekend. And then maybe, just maybe, one day in the future, you'll be a fucking multi-millionaire instead of being a broke bitch who still live with your mom and dad working paycheck to paycheck, hands on your fucking knees. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. My advice remains the same. Just like we started 2022, this is how we're starting 2023. Right? If you don't have the balls of steel, if you don't have a fucking pair of cojones, if you don't have what it takes to focus on the long term, and you're a person that's going to be like, oh, what's happening in the market? What's going on? What's going on? General, save me, save me, save me. If you're a person that's always just bitching and complaining and you have anxiety every day, then don't invest in that kind of stuff, because you're going to drive yourself crazy. Some of you guys already have enough stress in your life. You don't need any more of it. So if you're a person that's always stressed out, you probably shouldn't be investing in Bitcoin, because that's just going to stress you out even more. You feel me? So focus on the long term. If that's the type of person you are, buy some Costco stock. Trust me, it only goes up like $1 or $2 every day. But I believe in it, especially in this kind of environment. So invest in Costco, invest in Dollar General, invest in Dollar Tree, invest in Walmart. It's safe. It's going to go higher. Am I saying it's going to double and triple? No, but I'm telling you it's probably going to go higher, a lot fucking higher. It might not happen overnight, but it's going to gradually continue to go up, because I think they're going to thrive in this kind of environment, especially as the economy continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse. But if you do have the balls of steel, if you do have a pair of cojones, if you do have what it takes to be a focused long-term investor, then what do you guys need to do? Quite simple. Listen to this. It's called pull the motherfucking trigger! Every single fucking day. Keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking, because for most of you guys listening to me right now across the country and around the world, long-term investing and consistently stacking your portfolio with as many investments and assets as possible is honestly going to be the only way out of your current living situation. Because most of you guys don't have college degrees. Most of you guys don't have six-figure incomes. Most of you guys don't drive a Bugatti. Most of you guys don't have a Rolls Royce. Most of you guys don't have a Lamborghini. Most of you guys live with your parents, you live with your in-laws, you live with bitch-ass roommates, you live with someone else. Most of you guys work some dead-end jobs that you don't even like to work every day. Most of you guys have to deal with these bitch-ass supervisors that try to talk down to you and treat you a certain way because they think they have some fucking, power over you where they can just get away with shit. Most of you guys, you deal with a lot of bullshit in life. Most of you guys deal with a lot of stress in life. Most of you guys, you have family drama, you got personal drama, you got shit going on in your relationships and in your marriages. You guys have a lot of bills, you have a lot of debt, you don't have enough income, you're always fighting about money, you have a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration. Most of you guys got a lot of shit going on in your life. You know what I mean? And so for most of you, the only way you're going to make it out of the struggle, the only way you're going to make it out of your situation, the only way you're going to fucking make it out on the other side is you got to keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking. Otherwise, you're going to stay in the rat race forever, and you're going to keep working paycheck to paycheck, hands on your knees to the day you fucking die. And you know that because when you look around your life and you look at all these other people in your family, you look at all these people you work with, you look at all the people in your community, most of them who are older than you, 40, 50, 60 years old, guess what? They're still working paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because when they were younger, they didn't invest, they didn't stack, they didn't buy the dips, they didn't load up on investments, they spent all their money on stupid shit, and now here they are, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, still working at fucking Walmart, still working at fucking Target, still working in fucking construction, still working paycheck to paycheck, and still haven't really done anything with their lives. Other than have fun here and there and bullshit on the fucking weekends. But because they refused to invest or they didn't know how to invest, here they fucking are. So if you want to end up just like them, keep doing what you're fucking doing. Otherwise, this is the only way out for most of you. So, with that being said, and again, hate to sound so fucking ruthless, but again, there's 150,000 of you listening every night, and, it is what it is. Some of you guys need a foot in your ass. Otherwise, you'll never get off the fucking couch and start fucking investing, will you? So again, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to be your fucking bestie. I'm not here to be your fucking, this or that. I'm not even here to be your fucking role model. I'm here to be your motherfucking general. And some of you right now need a general who can put their foot up your fucking ass and scream at you every night so you do what you have to do so you can live the life you want to live tomorrow. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. I set the table for you guys. I told you what I thought about 2022. I told you guys I thought, we're going to go into a recession. And again, I think the average American is in a recession. I think the average American is struggling paycheck to paycheck. I think the average American is dealing with a lot of stress and depression. I think the average American is dealing with a lot of issues at work, issues in their marriage, issue in their households, issues with their living situation, and issues with a lot of their fucking debt to income ratio. I think a lot of people are just, again, a lot of people are fucking struggling. I can't stress that enough because it's fucking true. Every time I talk to my soldiers, every time I talk to my dudes in the trenches, every time I talk to, a lot of my subscribers across the country and around the world, from Utah, Wyoming, Wisconsin, Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida, New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, San Fernando, San Diego, San Bernardino, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Colombia, Jamaica, Argentina, Peru, Brazil, all the way down to fucking, Australia. Shout out to my man Danny in Australia listening to me tonight. When I talk to my subscribers across the country and around the world, most of them tell me the same thing, that fucking times are difficult, that fucking life is stressful, that, they're not making as much money as they used to, and that, things are really fucking expensive, and their bills are fucking high, and it feels like no matter how hard they work in life, it feels like they never get ahead. It feels like they're stuck in the same place. And a lot of people, especially as you get older, you start to get frustrated and depressed by the fact that, most of you guys feel like you guys have been doing the same thing for years now and you haven't really progressed in life. Most of you guys feel like you're just running, like you're either running in circles or you're just running in place. A lot of you guys listening to me tonight, the reason you guys want to invest and the reason you want to stack long-term investments is because you see all these other people who are like the same age as you or close to the same age as you. And you know what I mean? It feels like they're a lot further in life than you. And it's not because they're smarter. It's not because they're, a better person. It's not because of this or that. It's just because they knew how to invest and you didn't. And you're starting to look at a lot of people that you grew up with, a lot of people that, you went to school with, a lot of people that you used to hang out with, and you're starting to notice that some people are progressing in life and they're starting to level up and they're starting to buy houses, they're starting to buy mansions, they're buying this, they're buying that, they're traveling here, they're traveling there, they're going here, going there, and you're starting to notice that some people that you used to know, they're becoming financially successful. Some of them are becoming fucking millionaires now. And, and some of them are really fucking, they're going places in life. You know what I mean? Some of them are starting businesses. Some of them are taking over businesses. Some of them are becoming entrepreneurs. And some of them are just really getting ahead in life. And then you have the other people that you grew up with, the other people that you kick it with, the other people you went to school with, and they're turning out to be fucking losers in life. And they don't do anything but do the same shit every fucking weekend. Smoke out with the homies, get drunk every fucking weekend, still talking to the same bitches from back in the day, still going to the same fucking house parties like fucking losers, still talk about fucking the same shit over and over again. Remember that one time, bro? You remember that one time? And they keep talking about the past because it's obvious they have no future. And you're starting to notice like, some of the people that I grew up with, some of the people that I used to know, some of the people I used to kick it with, they're not really going anywhere in life. They're not doing anything in life. They're not progressing in life. They're staying still. Some of them are fucking falling behind. Like, for some of them, high school was the fucking peak. After that, it was downhill from there. And then you see other people that you used to grow up with or you used to know, and they're fucking leveling up every other fucking year. And they're constantly progressing. They're constantly going forward. They're constantly always getting ahead in life. And you guys are starting to realize, like, fuck, I gotta start picking up my shit. I gotta start getting my life together. I gotta start getting my finances in order. I gotta start figuring this shit out. Because if not, I'm gonna end up like everyone else. Stuck in the same fucking hood, stuck in the same fucking barrio, stuck in the same fucking ghetto. And I'm not going anywhere in life. I'm still a fucking, you know what I mean? It's like I haven't progressed since I was a kid. And so some of you guys right now listening are like, shit, motherfucking General's right. I gotta get my fucking shit together. Otherwise, I'm gonna be a fucking loser just like them too. So, you know, again, not here to be your friends, guys. I'm here to be your motherfucking general. And some of you guys listening to me tonight, you need a fucking ass whooping and you need a foot up your fucking ass and you need someone to scream at you one more motherfucking time. That the next time you get paid, the next time you have disposable income, and the next time you got a little bit of money in your fucking account, you better load that bitch up and pull the motherfucking trigger! Otherwise, you're going to be poor for the rest of your fucking life. And that's cool too, because I always need someone to pick up my trash on Friday fucking mornings. Alright, so that's the context for 2022, guys, right? So now we get into 2023. Okay? Let's jump into it here. So we get into 2023, and the market's starting to go up again. And the market's starting to rally, and the market's starting to rally, and then all of a sudden, all these real estate agents start blowing me up, talking about, General, real estate's looking like it's picking back up again. General, looks like mortgage rates are coming back down again. General, looks like things ain't gonna be that bad. Shit, looks like things are fucking getting better, General. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin's going up, and all these fucking meme stocks start going up, and the fucking bitch-ass cryptos are starting to get popping again. All the fucking shit coins that don't even do anything. All it is a picture of a pinche chihuahua. All this shit starts going up again. And I'm over here with the fucking bears like, hey, Federal Reserve, escúchame, güey, hey, cabrón, pay attention, look over here. You said you needed to raise interest rates, because you needed, one of the reasons why, not just to kill inflation, but you also need to get bitches back to work because the unemployment rate too low, labor market participation rate is too low, all this other bullshit you guys be complaining about every fucking press conference. Well, look, how are motherfuckers gonna go back to work if fucking crypto's going up again? How are motherfuckers gonna go back to work if Bitcoin's going back to the fucking moon again? How the fuck is people gonna go back to work when, you know, real estate and crypto and NFTs and stocks and stonks and all this other bullshit, when everything's going up again? Ain't nobody going back to work. They're going on Amazon to buy a fucking spacesuit because we're going to the moon. Going to the moon, bro. Well, don't tell me we're doing that shit again. Because if that starts happening again, then everyone's gonna start making money again, and then everyone's gonna start quitting their jobs again. Because now fuck that shit. I don't need to work, dog. I'm getting paid again. You know how that shit goes, America. You know motherfuckers have that mentality. The moment they get a little bit of money, they start to get a fucking big ass head. You know, it's like every time the portfolio gets bigger, their head gets bigger. It's like all of a sudden they think they're a fucking, you know, made man and shit now. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You live at your mama's house. Shut the fuck up. So, you know, like, I'm over here looking at the Federal Reserve with all the fucking bears, and we're like, yo, man, like, you know, and that's the thing about being a bear. Like, I'm bearish on the economy. I'm bearish on the fucking, I'm bearish on the stock market. I'm bearish on the real estate market. Again, I'm not bearish on real estate itself. I'm bearish on real estate agents, because for real estate agents, my whole thing, and I've said this since the beginning, I don't think real estate prices in America are going to collapse. I think there's too many rich people who would take advantage of any fucking dip as a buying opportunity. There's too many millionaires and billionaires and institutional investors in America that are honestly just waiting for the real estate market to crash, because if it ever did, they'd be coming in with fucking the cannons loaded. You know, like they'd just be buying everything. Like every time real estate dips now, it's hard for it's almost impossible for real estate to crash now, because every time it even goes down a little bit, it's like all the fucking It's like all the institutional investors and all the millionaires and billionaires and portfolio managers and venture capitalists. All of a sudden, every time real estate starts to come down a little bit, all of a sudden they start fucking, start getting their pussy wet and they start thinking about buying some more again. So that's what makes it hard for real estate to come down in a meaningful way, because there's just so many rich people, there's so many institutional investors, and there's just too many smart people now to take advantage of that buying opportunity if real estate ever comes down in a meaningful way. However, even though I don't think real estate prices are going to come down meaningfully, even though I don't think real estate is going to crash, even though I don't think real estate prices are going to come down that much, I think the problem with real estate isn't the value of real estate, it's the activity level of real estate, which means units sold. And that's kind of where I've been bearish on the most, because when you're a real estate agent, you don't really necessarily care how much the price of the real estate is. You care about how fast it's coming on and off the market, because you don't get paid until the fucking seller gets paid or until the buyer pulls the fucking trigger. So if there's not a lot of people buying and selling houses, that means you're not making as much commission, or you're not making it as frequently as you used to make it. So I think for a lot of real estate agents, that wanted to tell me all fucking summer and all of last year, real estate's not going to crash, General. Real estate's not going to crash. I was like, yeah, bro, it's not. But don't mean you won't. Like, what that got to do with you? So far, so good. Real estate has not crashed. I still don't think it's going to crash. But what I do think is going to crash? The real estate industry, real estate agents. And I look at companies like Zillow. I look at companies like Open Door. I look at companies like Redfin. I look at all these these little stupid ass private companies like OfferPad or, sellmeyourhouse.com or letmeflipyourhome.com and all these home flippers and all these other bullshit motherfuckers. And I see a lot of layoffs in the real estate industry. I see a lot of real estate companies starting to turn over now. I see a lot of, real estate businesses, starting to close down now, or at the very least, starting to slow down in a very meaningful, significant way. And so I continue to see a lot of pain in the real estate industry, not with the actual homes, not with the buyers and sellers, where most of the pain is happening right now in America in the real estate industry is with the corporations. It's with the fucking real estate agents. It's with the brokers themselves. And even with some of the construction workers, because now a lot of these companies like KB Homes and Toll Brothers, they're not building as many homes as they once did, because there's just really not that much activity, because mortgage rates went up so high and because the economy is starting to slow down. People don't really qualify for home loans like they used to, and there's not as much open interest in real estate as there used to, and so now a lot of these home builders just aren't building as many homes. Well, you know why that's a problem? Because that means if they're not building as many homes as they used to, because you don't have fucking 100 people waiting in line to buy a new home, well, guess what? That means they don't need as many construction workers. If you don't need as many construction workers, what's that going to mean for Jose and Jesus and Edgar and Raul and Felipe and Pedro and Juanito? What's that going to mean for them? And yeah, I know that's racist. I can say it. I don't give a fuck, But honestly, what's that really mean for a lot of people who work in construction and who build homes for a living? It's going to mean they're going to be asked out of fucking work and they got to figure out something else to do for fucking money. You know what I mean? But now all of a sudden there's a lot of, Mexicans in LA and Mexicans in San Diego. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's my people, so I can speak on it. But I get a lot of phone calls from a lot of construction workers that say, they had to switch up a bit and, they have to go do something else now. Because when the real estate industry starts to slow down the way it did, it doesn't just impact the real estate agents, but it impacts everyone that's involved in real estate, from the broker to the developer to the contractor to this to that. It impacts like an entire fucking industry. You know what I mean? And so I think that's where the real pain in real estate is happening. That's where the real pain in the housing market is. It's with all the jobs associated with real estate, not just the buyers and the sellers. So a lot of these real estate agents that kept trying to tell me that it's not that bad, that's great, bro. But for you it is, because now you work at McDonald's, now you work at Burger King, now you work at Subway, now you work at Foot Locker, because it's harder and harder to make money as a real estate agent when there's not as much, demand, or there's not as many buyers as there once was. Now there's less buyers. Now there's less units sold. Now there's less activity. And real estate agents, they need to make money. They need to make a commission. So if those commission checks ain't coming in left and right, then all of a sudden they have to start reevaluating their lives and trying to figure out if they're going to make more money doing something else outside of real estate. And for many real estate agents, they probably are. So right now you're seeing a lot of real estate agents for the past like 5-6 months, they started to leave the industry and they started getting jobs, somewhere else because, being a real estate agent doesn't pay as much as it used to, right? Back when the real estate market was hot and, everyone was qualifying for all these jumbo fucking mega loans, at sub fucking 3% mortgage rates. Yeah, everyone was buying a home. And so it was quote unquote easy to make money in the real estate market when the real estate market is so hot right now. Remember that shit? So, back then it was quote unquote easy for all these fucking real estate agents to get paid. But now in a slowing economy, higher interest rates, higher mortgage rates, now you're starting to see the pain in the entire sector at large. Right? Again, it's not just the buyers and the sellers. It's the construction workers. It's the fucking broker. It's refinancing divisions. It's a lot of things. You see it with Wells Fargo just laying off thousands of people that used to work in home loan refinancing. Right? Like no one's really doing refinancing as much as they used to. So, there's a lot of fucking headwinds in the real estate industry right now. And it's not just with the buyers and sellers, but it's with everyone else who's involved in the industry. So we'll see how much longer that goes on, but I suspect there's probably a lot more pain ahead for the real estate industry. Cause I don't think we're going to go back to sub 3%, mortgage rates anytime soon. And, I don't see the demand in real estate picking up anytime soon. Not until the Fed at least stops, doing rate hikes, not until they at least do a pause or a pivot. But until that happens, I think a lot of people are still going to be, kind of spooked out of the market, or at the very least, they're going to be really, really cautious moving forward. And institutional investors aren't really stepping up in a big way. A lot of institutional investors rather put their money in T-bills or bonds right now instead of buying real estate. So that's kind of my perspective on that. But again, going back to January, guys, look, this market started to pick up steam. Bitcoin started to pump up again. Crypto started to fucking want to rock and roll again. All of a sudden, real estate numbers didn't look as bad as we thought they would have. I mean, they're still bad, but not as bad. Real estate hasn't crashed. Real estate hasn't fucking fallen through the roof. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't tumbled in any way. And all of a sudden these companies are reporting earnings and, it's kind of like a heavyweight boxing match. All these companies are coming out reporting earnings and they're like, yeah, revenue's down. Yeah, profits down. Yeah, we're not making as much money as we used to. Yeah, our stock is down 40, 50, 60%. Yeah, but ¿sabes qué? I'm still alive, bro. I'm still fucking here, bro. You ain't knocked me out yet, dog. Let's go. Round 12, dog. I'm here. We're gonna make it. So, you know what I mean? There's bull side, bear side on both cases, right? Cause again, there's a lot of bears like me that said some of these companies, are going to be in trouble. Some of these companies are going to struggle. Some of these companies are, they're going to be on their deathbed. Some of these companies are really going to fucking tank. Because if the economy gets weaker and weaker, some of these companies are going to make less money, and some of them are not going to be profitable. And some of them are probably just going to be hoping to stay alive. And, so when we get these earnings coming out, and for the last 2-3 weeks, all these companies have been reporting earnings, and they're like, yeah, revenue's down, profits down, contracts are down, not making as much money as we used to, stock's down 40, 50%. But ¿sabes qué? I'm here. I'm alive. Well, we ain't dead yet. We're going to make it, dog. We're going to make it. We're going to make it to the other side. Sounds like a bunch of retail investors. Their portfolio's down 90%. But it's okay, babe. We're going to the moon one day. And so it's just comedy, man. But hey, they're still here. Some of them, they're not dead yet. They're going to make it. And some of them, to be honest, some of them are still making a lot of money. Apple's going to report earnings tomorrow night, on Thursday night, And you know what? It doesn't really matter how much money they make or don't make. Apple has a great business model. They make an iPhone in China for $5. They sell it here for $5,000. And you know, chances are your bitch ass is still going to buy the new iPhone because no one cares how much the phone costs as long as they break it up into monthly payments. And as long as your monthly payment is cheap, that's all that people really give a fuck about. Because at the end of the day, what do we always say? Bitches got to do it for the fucking gram. So, you know, there's a lot of companies, yeah, they're not making as much money as they used to, but they're still making some money because some companies have a really good business model. Again, Apple, make a phone in China for $5, sell it here for $5,000. You know what I mean? Facebook/Instagram, still making a lot of money. Why? Because people always want to be on fucking social media, posting fucking ugly ass selfies. Nobody wants to see a picture of your bitch ass, trust me. You know, some people really don't look that good, but they want to take a selfie anyways, like we fucking care. So, but it is what it is. A lot of people are still going to go on Facebook. They're still going to go on Instagram. They're still going to go on Snapchat. You know, Tesla's still selling a lot of vehicles every single year. Why? Because it's fucking, it's a social symbol. It's fucking symbolic. When you drive a Tesla, people think that when they drive a Tesla, it's like a status symbol, like you fucking made it in life. You know, and again, it doesn't mean that, you know, that you have or haven't. It's just like a lot of people, when they buy a Tesla, when they drive a Tesla, they drive it because it represents something. What it represents is progress. What it represents is success. What it represents is a big ass fucking sign saying, I fucking made it, you haven't. Right? Nobody buys a Tesla because it's good for the environment. Fuck the environment. Anybody give a fuck about climate change and no bean shit global warming? Fuck that shit. Most people, not all, but most people buy a Tesla. Why? So they can let these bitches know. So I was scared. I fucking made it. Right? And again, some of you guys think that's stupid, but tell me I'm wrong. Look at most of the people that drive a Tesla. They have a fucking attitude about them, like, you know, I know what I'm doing in life. You know, like, you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys see that shit, man. When people drive a certain type of car, you know, they do it for a fucking reason. Because it's like a flex for some people, for most people, especially guys. Don't get me started on that shit. You know, but it's like a fucking flex. Like, look at me, look at me, look at me. You know, I want you to love me. Motherfuckers are like that these days. Like, I'm supposed to think highly of them because they have a certain type of car. You know what I mean? But it's true. You know what I mean? Like, and then some dudes, they drive certain type of cars because they think it's a fucking pussy magnet. And guess what? Sometimes it is. You know, sometimes there's girls out here, man. Some of these hoes, you know, they'll fuck anybody just because they have a Tesla. Oh my God, it's a Tesla. Like, and you guys seen that shit. Don't act like you guys haven't seen that shit. There's a lot of fucking people out here, man. Like, they take that shit seriously. Like, it's the fucking, like, it's the end all be all. It's the indicator if you're fucking successful in life or not. You know? And it's sad, but it doesn't mean it's not true. So, anyways, so some of these companies are still making a lot of money. Tesla's not going to go bankrupt. Amazon's not going away. Apple's not going to fucking disappear tomorrow. Again, they make too much money. Build a phone in China for $5, sell it here for $5,000. No one cares, you know, because your bitch ass is still going to buy it because you got to do it for the gram and because you just want your monthly payments to be cheap. Now, tell me I'm wrong. You know, and then you got other companies like Facebook. Again, people are always going to post on the gram. They're always going to be on social media. They're always going to be on Snapchat and TikTok. So, you know, I expect a lot of these companies, I don't expect them to fall off a cliff. So a lot of these companies are still making money. A lot of these companies are still profitable. Are they making as much money as they used to? Fuck no. But they're not going bankrupt. They're not going away. Right? And so, you know, this is a battle of the bulls and the bears. Right? The bulls are here to tell you it's not that bad. It's going to be okay. You know, we're just going to be down for a little bit. And then after that, we're going to go back up to the moon again. And then the bears like me, it's like, bro, I get it. You're not going to go bankrupt. The stock market's not going to go to zero. Bitcoin's not going to zero. But at the same time, like, the economy is not going to go back to where it once was for a really long time. The economy is not going to go back to, you know, where we came from anytime soon. The economy is going to struggle for a long time. The average American is going to continue to struggle for many, many months ahead. And if we go into a recession, then that means that, you know, that Americans have basically wiped out their savings and maxed out their credit cards before we even started the recession. What's that going to look like? Think about it. All these Americans out here, And Bank of America and JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, they basically let us know that most Americans are basically empty on savings, maxing out credit cards, not making their car payments on time, not paying their rent on time, barely have enough money to buy groceries every fucking week. But don't worry, they're gonna be okay if we go into a recession. No mames. Like, what the fuck? So, like, this is like the push-pull relationship between the bulls and the bear. The bulls are saying it's not that bad. They're done raising interest rates. Inflation's coming down. You need to go on Amazon and buy your pinche spacesuit. And the bears were like, bro, like, inflation's coming down, but it's not coming down enough. The Fed's not gonna pause tomorrow. The Fed's not gonna pivot next week. Interest rates aren't gonna go mortgage rates aren't going sub 3% anytime soon. Interest rates aren't going back to zero again. You know, crypto's not gonna go to the fucking moon tomorrow. Ain't no space mission. Sit the fuck down somewhere, bro. Better find a job soon. That's what your bitch ass better do. So, like, I get it. I'm not saying Amazon's going out of business. I'm not saying Apple's gonna go bankrupt. I'm not saying Tesla's gonna disappear. I'm not saying electric charging stations aren't the fucking future, right? But on the other side, we're looking at it and we're like, bro, like, things aren't gonna get better anytime soon. The economy is still slowing down. The economy is gonna continue to fucking slow down. The economy is still in a fucking negative downtrend. People are still struggling. People are still fucking depressed. People are dealing with a lot of anxiety. People are fucking stressed the fuck out at work. People are still getting their hours cut back at work. And a lot of people are losing their fucking work. And a lot of people are struggling right now just to continue to pay with the rent prices that are still really fucking high. Debt to income ratios are fucking disgusting and atrocious. Fuck out of here with that shit. Credit card limits are through the fucking roof. The national debt is at the fucking ceiling right now. They gotta raise that shit one more time. You know what I mean? Food prices are still really fucking expensive. You know? And people are fucking struggling. And that's why everyone's going to the pawn shop trying to sell all their shit. People are fucking getting their cars repossessed. People aren't paying their rent on time. People are stealing food from fucking Walmart. If people were doing okay, they wouldn't be robbing fucking Walmart for some fucking chicken wings. I'm just saying, America, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you disagree with me. Crime rate is fucking exploding nationwide. You know? So, no, like, I'm still very bearish on this economy. I'm bearish on the consumer. Again, they could tell me all day that Black Friday was really good and Black Friday numbers were amazing and Amazon made all this money. Yeah, but then we find out 2 weeks later from MasterCard, Visa, Capital One, and American Express that they paid for everything on fucking credit cards. The fuck are you saying right now? The consumer's not alive and well. They're just too stupid to stop spending money on stupid shit. Why? Because they always gotta do it for the motherfucking gram. What the fuck, man? People are really just drowning in debt these days, but they just don't care. You know, cause they want people to think highly of them. I'm like, bro, move out of your mama's house first. Buy your own crib, buy your own car, start, setting up an investment, make a retirement account, go to college, get your GED, get a fucking degree, get a fucking career, stop working minimum wage, save your money, stop spending your money on stupid shit. Then I'll think of you more highly. You know, like, I don't care what fucking materialistic shit you got. You know, if you tell me you're broke, then none of that shit means anything. You know how many times I talk to people that have nice things and I'm like, hey, let's go here, let's go there. Oh, I can't, bro. I ain't got any money. I'm like, what the fuck? Then why are you spending your money on stupid shit every weekend if you ain't got no fucking money, bro? It's like they always have money for stupid shit, but then they never have money for the things that really matter. What the fuck are you doing? You know, you're not a fucking little kid anymore. Some of you guys are in your fucking late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, early 40s, and you're still fucking up in life. Still doing the same stupid shit you used to do. Still spending money on stupid shit every fucking weekend. Don't got your fucking life together. Don't got your shit together. Don't got your career together. Don't got your finances together. Toxic relationship, but don't do anything to fucking fix it. Don't have a great relationship with your kids because you don't fucking put in the effort. You know? It's like, what the fuck, man? You know? And you guys know who I'm talking about. It's mostly you fucking millennials. Okay? Gen Zs are too stupid to know any better. They're too fucking young and dumb. It's okay. We're all dumb when we're coming out of high school. Right? Boomers are just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here with this fucking administration. But millennials, I mean, come on, guys. Get your fucking shit together. It is fucking embarrassing how many fucking 20, 30, and 40-year-olds are out here still acting like they're fucking in high school. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Too many fucking grown-ass people out here still acting like fucking, boats and hoses, all that fucking matters. It's like, bro, grow the fuck up. But they don't want to. And again, that's fine. Somebody's got to pick up my trash on Friday morning. So, anyways, so as this market is ripping and running and ripping and running and ripping and running, and stocks are going back up, and Bitcoin's starting to go higher, and crypto is starting to explode again, and real estate's not falling off a cliff, although I say the real estate industry is probably falling off a cliff. I mean, damn, the amount of fucking pain going on in the real estate fucking industry. Again, not with houses, not with buyers and sellers. It's with brokers, it's with construction workers, it's with the engineers, the developers. I see a lot of people in the real estate industry that are going through some fucking pain, and those are the ones who are not making as much money as they used to. Again, the 70% crash in real estate already happened, but it didn't happen with the buyers and sellers. It happened with everybody in the middle. Again, some of you guys understand, some of you guys don't know what I'm saying, but it's okay. So we get into this meeting, right? And Jay Powell's supposed to come out, and I told you guys last night, I was hoping that he was going to raise interest rates by 50 basis points. I was expecting 25, but I was hoping for 50 basis points. And the reason I was hoping he raised interest rates by 50 basis points is because I think this market is basically saying F you to the Federal Reserve. I think this stock market is telling Jay Powell and the Fed to go fuck themselves. I think this stock market is basically screaming out the window, I don't give a fuck. And I think the stock market just doesn't care. I think the stock market believes that either A, inflation is just going to continue to tumble lower, which it isn't, or B, that the Fed doesn't have the fucking stones, the huevos, the cajones to send this economy into a recession just in the name of killing inflation. Even though the Federal Reserve already told us back in August, September, October, November, and December over and over again that going into a recession is not the worst thing in their opinion. In their opinion, the worst thing would be not to kill inflation. They think that inflation is worse than a recession. Let me say that again. The Federal Reserve believes that inflation is worse than a recession because they believe that they can get the economy out of a recession if we go into one, but they also believe that if they don't kill inflation quick, fast, and in a hurry, that it'll basically never go away. It'll become entrenched forever. So that's why they always say at every Fed press conference that we need to hurry up and kill inflation. We need to hurry up and kill inflation. We need to hurry up and kill inflation. Because the longer inflation stays high at an elevated level for a long time, the longer inflation stays around, the harder it becomes to kill. So if you're going to kill inflation, you have to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because the longer inflation stays alive, the more it becomes fucking unkillable. You see my point? But a recession, they said, no, if we go into a recession, on our way to killing inflation, if we accidentally send the economy into a recession, we don't think that's the worst possible outcome. The worst possible outcome is not killing inflation right away. Because if inflation stays around and sticks around forever, then that's going to hurt most Americans, particularly those who are living on fixed income. Because now everyone who's living on fixed income is trying to figure out how to stay alive because everything is going up in prices, but their fixed income isn't going up. You guys see my point? So there's a lot of people that, if they live on like Social Security or they live on disability or they live on government programs, the amount of money they receive isn't really going up as fast as inflation is going up. So a lot of them feel like they're kind of fucked because there's no way for them to earn extra money. So whatever money they get, they have to basically make it last. But if everything just keeps going up and going up and going up, but their paychecks stay the same because it's fixed income, then they basically get the short end of the stick. So the Federal Reserve knows that there's millions and millions and millions and millions of people who live on fixed income, and inflation is basically killing them right now. So they have to kill inflation quick, fast, and in a hurry, and as soon as fucking possible. Because the longer it stays around, basically the harder it becomes to kill later. But if we go into a recession, they believe they have, the tools to take us out of a recession, which is basically lowering interest rates again. But, again, so I think in my opinion, for most of the bears, we look at it as, well, they'll probably just send us into a recession accidentally in order to kill inflation. And then once they kill inflation, then they'll work on lowering interest rates and getting us out of that recession. But we look at, again, the bears, we've been looking at inflation for the past year. And yeah, there's a lot of inflation that's coming down, but there's also a lot of inflation that's going back up again. Rent prices really aren't coming down that significantly. Food prices are barely going down at all. Goods and services, fucking housing, that's still really fucking high. And then there's a lot of fucking like mini inflation, like egg prices and, bacon and like all this other shit that people, usually buy every month. There's a lot of different things at the grocery store that are still going up in prices, right? And I think that's why a lot of times you guys go to the grocery store and like, when you go to the grocery store and you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of mouths to feed, sometimes you be looking at the checkout aisle and you be there like, sheesh. You be walking through the fucking, aisles at Walmart. You be looking left. You be looking right. You be looking at all these fucking big ass prices. And then you're looking at your bank account and your bank account looking at you. And you looking at your bank account looking back at you. Your bank account look at you in a straight face. Be like, make it enough. And you over there, walking through Walmart, walking through Costco. You be walking around, the economy and like, you look at how much everything costs these days. And you just be going, like shit's fucking expensive. Like money ain't what it used to be. You know what I mean? Like shit's fucking expensive, especially for low household incomes. Especially for fucking low income individuals. It's really fucking expensive. And again, the average American does not drive a Lamborghini. The average American does not have a Rolls Royce. The average American doesn't drive a fucking Tesla. The average American drives a fucking hoopty. The average American drives a fucking bucket. The average American fucking gets rides from his friends and his family. The average American fucking is walking these days. I don't know if you guys noticed. There's a lot of people who are walking everywhere now. I thought it was just because gas prices were high, but now I'm just wondering if they even have a fucking car anymore. Cause like, I get it, but like, sometimes I'll be driving around Vegas and I'll just drive around, just to fucking get my mind off things. And I'll be driving around, I'll be like, sheesh, there's a lot of people walking these days. Like, that's interesting, cause back when everyone was getting stimmy, after stimmy, I didn't see nobody walking. Everyone was getting a fucking Uber. Remember that shit? Now all of a sudden I see a lot of people walking to the grocery store. I see a lot of fucking couples walking everywhere. I see people with their kids walking everywhere. And I'd be like, damn, bro. And they'll always say, oh, yeah, we just need to get some exercise. I'm like, bullshit, bro. Bullshit. Don't give me no fucking lame-ass excuse. You know what I mean? Like, just call it what it is. You're fucking struggling right now. And it's not a bad thing. It's not like, it's not embarrassing. I'm not here to fucking make fun of them. But, at the same time, like, this is something that I'm aware of. I'm cognizant that a lot of people are fucking struggling. Average American is in pain. Average American makes less than $50,000 a year. What does $50,000 a year get you anymore? How the fuck do people survive on minimum wage? That's the reason nobody wants to work in McDonald's. That's the reason nobody wants to work at Jack in the Box. That's the reason nobody wants to work for Food for Less. Because how the fuck do you support a family on minimum wage? And I get it. It's not meant to support a family, but fuck. Sometimes those are the only jobs that people qualify for is minimum fucking wage. So, and it's just not enough. Inflation is way too fucking high. Like it was always impossible to survive off a minimum wage. Now it's almost negative. Now if you work for minimum wage, it's almost like losing money. You know what I mean? Cause it's just not worth the fucking time anymore. Like nowadays, you gotta make at least 20 an hour. Tell me if I'm wrong, America, but it feels like you have to make at least 25 an hour. At least. You can't be working for no $12, $13 an hour anymore. 15 ain't even enough. You know what I mean? Like, you won't even make enough to pay your fucking rent on time. You know what I mean? Let alone fucking feed your kids, feed your family, pay your bills, pay the car insurance, the cell phone bill, the life insurance, this, that. Gotta put your kids in fucking daycare, childcare. Gotta pay for gas so you can get to and from work every fucking day. You know what I mean? You got credit card bills, student loan bills, this bill, that bill, the other fucking bill, personal loans. Like, people have a lot of bills. People have a lot of debt. There's no way people can survive on minimum wage. That's why nobody wants to work these jobs. You know why? Because inflation's really fucking high and life is fucking expensive in America. So that's why, again, I'm bearish on the economy. I'm bearish on the consumer that needs to stop fucking spending money on credit cards. I'm bearish on the real estate industry at large because I think that's going to continue to slow down, especially for some of these home builders that can't even get permits anyways. But now there's not enough demand for new homes for it to be worth it to them anymore. You know what I mean? So again, more real estate agents are probably going to leave the industry. Then you got companies like Zillow that's laying off half the company. Open Door might fucking go bankrupt. All these home flippers fucking got a job at Walmart because it's harder and harder to flip home these days. You know what I mean? Like, so there's still a lot of pain to come in that, in that sector of the economy. You know, so, and then people want to ask me about Bitcoin. Look, I think Bitcoin's going to go and it's going to be worth more than $1 million each one day, in my opinion. But at the same time, I think in the short term, it should go lower. And I know it's at like 25,000 right now, but in the short term, I'd be bearish on Bitcoin. Because I think if this economy does go into a recession, I believe if this economy does crash, I believe if the stock market crashes, I believe if things continue to get worse around the world, people are going to be forced to sell their fucking Bitcoins because they're going to need the fucking money to pay their bills and pay their rent and to feed their fucking families. Now, Elon's not going to sell his Bitcoins, right? Michael Saylor's not going to sell his Bitcoin. Chamath won't sell his Bitcoins. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, all these rich fucking Mark Zuckerberg, all the fucking bitch ass senators and congressmen and women, you know, they're too rich to ever like need to sell their Bitcoins for money. They're just going to keep stacking. But, you know, it doesn't mean that everyone else won't need to sell their Bitcoins, right? So, you know, I get it. The market's going up and the market's rallying, but that's why I felt like the Federal Reserve needed to do 50 basis points. That's why I feel like Jay Powell needed to come out today and he needed to fucking whoop some ass today. He needed to come down with the motherfucking hammer. He needed to let it be known that he ain't fucking around. Ain't no rate cuts. Ain't no fucking pivot. Ain't no fucking pause. It's just another motherfucking ass whooping. What he needed to do today was send a fucking clear message to the entire fucking market, to every asset class on earth, and to every investor in the world that I am not done killing inflation. The war is not over, and I am coming for that motherfucking ass. And you better not go to war with me, cause I'll smoke that ass, bitch. That's what he should have said. Instead, little pendeja bitch ass motherfucker. Este Sangano came out on the fucking stage today talking about, well, you know, it looks like it's coming down. We still have more work to do. I don't think we're going to have to cut rates this year, but, looking so good so far. So far, so good. We're going to land the plane. We're not going to go into a recession. Calm down. We're not going into a recession. I know every leading indicator in the fucking world says we're going into a recession, but no. I don't think we're going into one, even though literally every fucking leading indicator in the world is screaming that we're about to go into a recession. But here his bitch ass comes. No. There's no recession. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. Kumbaya. Calm down. It's gonna be okay. I will land the plane blindfolded. Don't worry, guys. We got this. You can trust the government. We're here to support you. So, I'm over here looking at this shit like, damn. Okay. Well, how come the market says you guys are going to pause? The market says you guys are going to pivot. The market says you're going to start doing rate cuts soon. What do you got to say about that, Jay Powell? well, we don't think there's going to be rate cuts this year. I mean, maybe, but we don't think there's going to be rate cuts. But maybe. And every time he says that, but maybe shit, we'll see, we don't expect it, but it's possible. Every time you say shit like that, you leave the door open. And you know what's gonna happen? The Bulls are gonna fucking break that bitch wide open and stampede that fucking shit. And that's exactly what happened today. The moment he said, well, maybe we'll cut rates. I doubt it though. I don't think so. I mean, it could happen. It could. You never know. The moment he said that, all the Bulls got together and they were like, so you're saying there's a chance. You're saying it's possible. You're saying si se puede, way. And the moment that guy kept saying, maybe, probably not, very unlikely, but you never know. The moment he kept talking like that, all the Bulls, all these bitches, they started drinking Monster, Red Bull, shots of fucking 12-hour energy, popped a Viagra pill, and they came steamrolling through that fucking door. They came on some Donkey Kong shit today. And they fucking romped this market higher. And the whole market today, probably Thursday, probably Friday, just higher. And look, I'm not mad that the market's going higher, even though I am shorting, because again, I am a bear. I am shorting this market. I'm shorting the economy. I'm shorting the fucking, I'm shorting everything at this point. Especially the American consumer, because I think they're running out of money. And I think the average American is just fucking broke right now. And if credit cards didn't exist, they'd be fucking, I don't know what would happen in America if credit cards didn't exist. I mean, it would be a complete shit show. But I think the average American is fucking struggling. I think the average American is financially dying. I think the average American is just stressed the fuck out financially. And you're starting to see, you're even starting to see like divorces starting to tick up again. Why? Because every time the economy goes down, a lot of couples start to fight about money again. You know? The number one cause for divorce in America is what? Fucking money. Or more importantly, the lack of communication around money. So, again, you're starting to see a lot of people get divorced now. You're starting to see a lot of people break up. Now fucking everyone just has a baby mama these days. I mean, let's just call it what it is. So, times are hard, times are stressful, times are difficult. So, so I'm still very short. I don't trust this rally. I don't believe this rally. If I end up being wrong and the bottom is in, then, most of you guys are long-term investors anyways. So you guys have honestly just been waiting for this opportunity. But to me, I would be very cautious here. I'd be very skeptical here. I would probably, I would take a breather here, let's just say. But Jay Powell, man, let me just close this out by saying I think he fucked up today. I think he fucked up in a big way. I think he wet the bed. I think he shit the bed. I think he fucking fumbled at the 1 yard line. I mean, this motherfucker choked this fucking moment worse than the fucking Bengals did against the fucking Chiefs this past weekend. This motherfucker, it was set up for a great moment, kind of like the 49ers were meant to be in the Super Bowl, and then everything fucking went wrong, just like the fucking 49ers did this weekend too. It's just like, fuck, man, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. What was supposed to happen? Absolute fucking choke job. Good job, Joe Burrow. So, it's kind of like one of those things where you're just looking at it like, what the fuck? He kept sounding very dovish, kept saying, well, inflation's coming down, and if it keeps going down, then we're going to be really happy. If not, then, we'll keep raising interest rates. But right now, so far, so good. When you say so far, so good, it makes people think like you're winning the battle. And you're not. Inflation is still way too fucking high. And yeah, he said that they're not going to do any rate cuts, this year. But then he says, but you never know. When you say shit like that, so far so good, you never know, maybe, I doubt it, but maybe. It's like when you tell a kid, like, no, you can't go to Chuck E. Cheese, but I'll think about it. The moment you say that, like, now all of a sudden the kid starts to think, oh shit, I can convince him if I just try a little harder. And that's exactly what happened, like a fucking kid, man. These Bulls came through the fucking door, and they just fucking took everything they wanted. and mom and dad just sat there and didn't do anything about it, just like most parents these days. Don't know how to raise their fucking kids anymore. So, it is what it is. So this market took off. I don't trust it. I think this is a sugar high. I think this is euphoria. I think this is a fake ass rally. If I end up being wrong, I'll end up being wrong. Which again, most of you guys are long-term investors. Short-term, I'm still shorting the market, but most of you guys, 99% of you guys are long-term investors. The only ones who are really shorting the market are me, my clients, and my VIPs, because we do a lot of short-term trades and short-term, swing trades and momentum trades. But for the rest of you guys listening on the regular podcast, most of you guys have honestly just been stacking and stacking for like 2, 3, 4 years now since I started this podcast. So for you guys, you'll take any fucking rally. You don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Which is great, because again, in the long term, that's the only way most of you are going to make it out of your scenario. That's the only way you guys are going to make it out of your situation. That's the only way you guys are going to get ahead in life. It's just to continue to buy as many assets and investments as possible and not spending your fucking money on stupid shit every fucking weekend. So, salute to all you fucking soldiers who've been doing what you're supposed to do, and you just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. My order for you guys is to continue to keep stacking and stacking and stacking, because again, you're not focused on what happens with interest rates this year or next year or the year after that. You're thinking about 5 to 10 years from now, because you're just trying to, continue to grow and compound your portfolio so it's big enough one day where you don't have to work minimum wage anymore. So for most of you guys listening, just keep doing what you're doing. This podcast, again, is just to tell you what's happening in the market today. But again, when you're investing for the long term, you're thinking about, the rest of this decade, not necessarily the rest of this year. You get my point? So to all my soldiers out there listening to me across the country and around the world, keep pulling the motherfucking trigger. Keep fucking putting money into your portfolio every single time you get paid, every single time you collect a paycheck, and every single time you got disposable income. Because if you don't, every time you spend it on, stupid shit, that's just one fucking, that's just less stock that you have in your portfolio. And again, the only way some of you guys are ever going to make it out of your situation is to continue to buy as many assets and investments as possible. And unfortunately, this is probably the only way out for most of you guys listening to me tonight. For maxed out VIP subscribers listening to me tonight, I'll be coming out with a VIP clip coming out this weekend. To everyone who keeps blowing me up, asking me how to become a maxed out VIP subscriber and how they can start shorting the market with me, or how they can join my momentum trades and swing trades, the VIP package is still closed. I have not opened it yet. I'm probably going to open it either after the Super Bowl, probably after the Super Bowl. I probably won't open up the VIP package again until after the Super Bowl, because I want to see what the next CPI numbers look like and what the next inflation data looks like. And then from there, I'll decide what I do with my VIP subscribers, and at that point I might reopen up the VIP package to anyone who's interested. But for now, it remains closed because I want to stay focused on my current VIPs. And every time I add new people, they always ask me a bunch of questions, and I don't have time to answer a bunch of questions right now. I got to focus on my portfolio, and I have to focus on my clients' portfolios. So other than that, ladies and gentlemen, extremely disappointed, extremely frustrated, super pissed the fuck off. It felt like a letdown. It felt like a fumble. It felt like a choke job. It felt like a fucking, it just felt like it was a huge disappointment, to say the very least. So now the markets are running, the markets are ripping. How much higher does it go? Who fucking knows? Some people saying it can go like 5% higher. Some people says it can go 10% higher. We'll see how much higher we go. A lot of people are saying the bottom is in, and that all the stocks bottomed last October, last November, and that we're basically in a new bull market, and stocks are going to continue to go higher from here. And even though interest rates aren't going to go back to zero, even though mortgage rates aren't going to go back to sub 3%, even though things aren't going to go back to the way they used to be, it doesn't change the fact that, a lot of people think the lows are basically behind us, the bottom is in. And we're just going to continue to grind higher for the next 2 or 3 years. And we're just going to continue to go higher and higher and higher, because the Fed is going to pivot, and they are going to start to cut interest rates sometime this year. But a lot of the bears, such as myself, and we could be wrong, right? We're never going to be perfect on every single call. But a lot of us are just still very bearish on this economy. We're still very bearish on the stock market. We believe that this is a fake breakout, that's just trying to get everyone bulled up and get everyone on a sugar high. And then the moment that fucking sugar high comes down, the moment the sugar wears off, the moment the fucking hopium goes away, is the moment the next ass whooping fucking begins all over again. And sometimes the next ass whooping is always worse than the last one. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But in terms of, for the average listener, for the average subscriber listening to me across the country and around the world, I'll finish off by saying this. None of this really matters in the long term. I think for most of you guys listening to me tonight, unless you have like $1 million portfolio, most of you guys only have a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s in the stock market. So for most of you guys listening to me tonight, it really doesn't fucking matter what the Fed does or doesn't do with interest rates. It doesn't really matter if the Fed ends up doing a cut or a pivot. And it doesn't really matter what happens, on earnings or, with all these companies. At the end of the day, the most important thing you guys can do every single night, every single week, and every single month is to make sure that you guys are saving as much money as possible, making sure you guys are investing as much money as possible, and making sure you guys are preparing for your future. You guys have to do, like, I know it sounds simple and basic, but, sometimes it's always the basic stuff that's the hardest. You guys got to figure out a way to kill your credit card debt. You guys got to figure out a way to fix your fucking credit scores, because some of you guys have disgusting credit scores. Some of you guys have no money in fucking savings. Some of you guys have fucking no assets, no investments. Some of you guys need to open up a Roth IRA. Some of you guys need to start, looking for jobs that provide fucking benefits. Some of you guys need to fucking focus on school. Some of you guys need to focus on, your home life. Some of you guys need to improve your relationship, not just with your significant other, but with your kids as well. I think a lot of you guys right now who are going through a lot of stress, it doesn't make things better when it feels like you're not making enough money and you're not getting paid enough, and then you come home and you're stressed out because you and your wife are still fighting about money, and you and your kids aren't as close as you want to be, and you don't have a great relationship with your parents, and you know what I mean, and things are fucked up at work. There's a lot of things you guys need to work on. There's a lot of things that everyone, needs to improve on. Nobody's perfect, but some of you guys, in terms of getting to where you want to be in life, in terms of having financial freedom and financial independence, is not just about buying the dips. It's not just about putting money in your portfolios, but it's also about, like, getting your fucking life together, getting your shit together. So, again, stop spending your money on stupid shit. Fix your fucking credit. Save some fucking money. Talk to your fucking spouse about money and make sure you guys are on the same page financially and you guys start setting up financial goals together. Have a great relationship with your kids. Cause, at the end of the day, if you don't spend time with them, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Money's not going to buy back, their childhood. So make sure you guys are doing what you're supposed to do on every front. It's a fucking battlefield out there, not just in the stock market, but in fucking life market. There's always a battle to be had. There's always a fucking battle that has to be done. And, you know what I mean? Life is a marathon. Life is a fucking war zone. And a lot of times you're going to have to overcome obstacles. A lot of times you're going to have to deal with bullshit. A lot of times you're going to get stressed the fuck out. But at the end of the day, as long as you keep pulling the fucking trigger, you're going to make it out alive. And you're going to make it to the other side. And you're going to make it to the land of financial freedom and independence. As the Lord is our shepherd and the general is your fucking leader, I will fucking take you there, or I will fucking die trying. But I can't help anyone if people won't take my hand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for listening to the one, the only, the motherfucking general. Magallon Entertainment! And don't forget, the next time you get paid, if you're a broke bitch, you better not spend that money on stupid shit. And you best believe that you better what? Pull the motherfucking trigger!